if you're gonna yell at me, I'm not gonna do the show. Like you don't have to scream at me. That's so disrespectful. You know, I'm not here to get like that's like you don't have to be rude. I don't.
Hi everyone, I'm Brittany Renner.
I'm Terrika Foster-Brasby.
I'm Pearl Davis.
And I'm Gonzalez, and this is the GFY Show.
We are no strangers to controversy.
And we're not afraid to speak our truth.
And we are committed to our love of culture, entertainment, and sports.
And the athletes that play them. We make our own rules, and if you don't like it, go fuck yourself. Now, let's dive right in. All right, game 4. Dallas pulled it off. Dylan, what are your immediate thoughts about this?
I just have to say for the record, everybody, that, you know, it actually was very divine that we all showed up here in blue today. That's right, yeah. Okay, and this is blue. It's just extremely dark blue because, yes, it is chilly in here, ain't it, Pearl? Ain't it, Pearl? Streak.
I didn't guess it right. I didn't get it right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this one to you.
Oh, that's why she's wearing blue today. I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I think we all were rooting for them secretly. Like, come on, because a sweep just would have been embarrassing.
Okay, first of all, embarrassing. Second of all, just again, for me, I would have been hurting my pride. Because Pearl's not going to let me live it down. And then again, I'm so excited just to continue to see how they're going to keep stepping it up. And straight up, like the defense.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody heard us talking a little song because the defense came through. And that's one of the things that I think fundamentally, what do we know? Defense wins championships, baby. So come on, let's keep going hard, Dallas.
Absolutely.
I want to see the next game as a dub too, okay? I'm going to throw it out there already.
I couldn't believe how much they won by. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close.
Yeah, it was definitely a dominant performance, but like I think Luka took that last game personal. Like Luka was like, I fouled out, I didn't play my best, I didn't get to contribute like I really wanted to. And so he came out today like, I am a man on a mission. He dropped 29 points and he led the way. Like that's what leaders do. That's what leaders do. Leaders come out, they lead the way, they set the tone. The only problem that I have with Dallas is I really want someone else outside of him and Kyrie to step up. It cannot just be them two. I know Tim Hardaway Jr. got in. He dropped 15 points for him today. But it's got to be somebody else. Because if they are only going to rely on Luka and Kyrie at the moment that they come across Boston, who might have a better shooting game, when Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday are all going off, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to kind of pull out these kind of wins.
I agree with that. And I think that goes back to, too, what we were speaking about yesterday, where it's like, this is a team effort. So if only 2 of the 5 players are showing up, like, it's hard for me to kind of see them pulling off a second win if, again, there's a better shooting night. And I think they're back in Boston, aren't they?
They are back in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, Lucky the Leprechaun. Lucky the Leprechaun is like, I am determined to keep these losses going for Kyrie. So I'm curious to kind of see what happens. Do we have any game 5 predictions, starting with Pearl?
All right, I lost my pride last time. I'm hoping to get it back. Let me think. I'm gonna go Dallas. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna guess.
Why
Dallas.
the change up, girl?
Look, I saw the energy today. I think they're gonna put up a fight.
Okay.
I think Dallas is gonna take the next one.
Terrika, how do you feel?
I already switched up once. I can't switch up again. So I can't go back now. I done already made the decision. So gentlemen sweep. Boston just wanted to go home, so they're going to get it at home.
Okay, they want to win it in front of their
Dallas is staying home. So here we go. Outside.
How do you feel, Dylan? Who's going to take it game 5 back in Boston?
I'm rolling the dice still on the same side that I'm staying on the same side.
Loyal to the soil.
Yeah, we going to hold it down. Come on. And you know what? I got to say, I think that when it comes down to the energy behind it, we're going to see like the real beast be unleashed. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm trying to manifest it just like we did with our color palette here today. I want to see.
Totally unplanned.
And again, I want to see it on both
Totally
sides. Like, I want to
unplanned.
see Boston show up too. I'm a little disappointed. Maybe disappointed is kind of a strong word, but I guess more maybe like surprised, I guess. But at the same time, these guys are playing like back-to-back games on a million. But you know, the numbers today, the figures today on Boston's like main side today was tough. But again, I do attribute that to the Dallas defense, and I do want to continue to see that. So let's go, Dallas. Let's keep getting these dubs.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, of course, I would love for the Mavs to win. I've kind of said that, though. But it's just kind of hard because Lucky the Leprechaun, he's been pretty consistent with just keeping the energy pretty set there. So, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just not convinced after tonight's win. I just am not. It seems kind of fluky. And then I also feel like, I'm sorry, it just seems fluky. And then I feel it's going to be different being in Boston.
Yeah, it's definitely pride.
Yeah.
Like, you have a lot of pride when you come off a loss where you know you didn't play your best basketball. You know, like, you're the guy. Luka's the guy. Luka's that dude.
Yeah.
And he's going to show up, but he has to be in games. And I know he felt the way about fouling out of game 3. So it's not surprising that you're fighting for your life. And that's essentially what he has to do. But there's history on the line. No team has ever come back from being down 3-0 to win a championship. So, I mean, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I am saying it is highly improbable that Dallas is going to be able to pull out 4 straight wins.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that either. But may the odds ever be in your favor. So now we're moving right along to a segment called Panel Pull Out. Pull out. I see what we did there. So each host will pull something from the internet or socials that they would like to address with that specific host. Sounds a little messy. We're going to start with Pearl.
Sounds so messy.
We're going to start with Pearl.
I'm first?
Yes. I mean, first, yeah.
Okay, so I saw something that you retweeted, Brittany. And it was
Girl,
something about
tread lightly with me.
it was something about female intuition.
Okay.
And I just don't think female intuition exists. I think female intuition is terrible.
I think it's terrible in what way?
We make terrible choices as women. So people will always say, "Oh, my female intuition, I knew because of my female intuition." And yeah, I don't think it's really a thing.
Well, intuition, just simply put, is heightened awareness. And so it stems from when women were at home with children and had to be tuned into what was going on. So intuition doesn't just stop at children, it's across the board. So if you aren't tuned into your intuition, that's a you thing.
No. I just look at the choices we make, you know.
We or you?
We as women.
I mean, let's make it about you. What kind of choices do you make?
Look at.
What kind of choices do you make?
Okay, what kind of choices do you make, Brittany?
No, but you're the one who's, we're talking, you're saying that females don't make good choices,
well,
so
look at, we own the
let's go.
majority. I have no debt, right? But women in general.
That's because you're from a rich family, girl.
In general,
Women, you're from a rich family, so what are you talking about? You have no debt, girl.
Women in general have a
Congratulations. Like, you don't get fish don't get applauded for
I'm
swimming.
lucky. That's why I said I'm lucky.
Okay, so for you, so why lead with that? So why lead with that? So why lead with that?
You asked for an example, and I'm going to give it to you. Do you want me to start?
Girl, okay. Let me tell you what
let's talk about
what we're not gonna do, because you have a history of doing this. Because I'm familiar with you. Okay. Girl, what you like to do is you like to say these really stupid fucking comments, right? And then so what you do, then you like sit back, and then you're like, you think you're so smart, you have this fucking smug ass look on your face, and then you're waiting for someone to give you that like emotional, like passionate response. So then you can sit there and be super dismissive and really kind of just gaslight. And I don't know, as a female.
Gaslight?
Yeah, do you know what that word means?
You guys use it for everything.
You guys.
Go ahead.
Okay, you know what's funny about using you guys is
Okay.
seriously, it kind of feels like the only thing that is actually feminine about you is that you have a vagina.
Okay.
Because I feel like, there's like a man on the panel.
Okay, and what's feminine about you, Brittany?
Everything is feminine about me.
Oh, come on. Like, I'm not trying to go personal here. So I don't know why you're trying to make this personal.
No, you made it personal when you
I said,
when you led with, hey, I don't have any debt.
I don't know.
As if that's a flex because your parents have money.
You asked
What have you actually earned for yourself?
Brittany, you asked me. I'm saying in general, women own the majority of debt. We don't make great choices. If we look at who we pick, let's look at romantic decisions. Women don't make very good romantic decisions in general.
There's a point that needs to be made, though, and that's the fact that what I heard Brittany say earlier was she's talking about people who have there's a deep heightened intuition. And I think where the conversation is splitting is the fact that you're actually talking about people who don't have that, who have it turned off, who are disconnected
like her.
From their intuition, who don't make poor decisions. We make poor decisions. Like when we actually go down to the root of why it is that we make these poor decisions, there's layers and layers and layers and layers to it. And more of it is going to come from just like the science and backing that you kind of put into collective bundles that ultimately just come from who? The white man that you were raised by. So when it comes,
that's the reason that she doesn't have any debt.
I'm just saying, so
you
there's a certain level of understanding that's not there.
So that's not you making a decision. That's you being born into white privilege, and we need you to acknowledge that. So that's not a decision that you made. That is the way you came into this. And honestly, girl, you're a family of like 9 or 10. Like all that's how your dad set you up. So there are things that you genuinely did not have to experience.
Right.
You don't fucking know. You get to sit there again. You don't even have to make any decisions. You're the same person. You are the same person that the last time I saw you accidentally. No, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up when I'm talking. And you get to go. You're the same person who accidentally spent $50,000 and your dad was able to pay it off on your credit card. Yes, you did when you spent.
I didn't actually.
You're the one who said an accident. I spent over my limit. That's what you said. That's what you said. So again, an unreal. That's what you said. That's what you said. The last time that I saw you. So again, we're going back to you. Girl. What the shit that comes? That's what I'm saying. The shit that comes out of your mouth. You literally just say whatever.
Why are you getting so mad over?
Because honestly, you're fucking delusional.
Brittany.
Don't Brittany. Go ahead.
I do think there's one thing that we have to say.
If you're gonna yell at me, I'm not gonna do the show. Like you don't have to scream at me. That's so disrespectful. You know, I'm not here to get like that's like you don't have to be rude. I don't.
I ain't holding shit. The fuck on.
Okay, I still want to hear what you had to say, though. So what did you
Well, I was about to just get into the point about women and having debt, because the truth of the matter is women don't make as much. It's such a layered conversation. But if this... But if this right here just got you mad, then my pullout was really going to make her mad, because I was about to pull out the tweets about black women are racist. How in the fuck do you sit on a panel with 3 black women and say 3 black women are racist? But I'm gonna wait.
No, she's not coming back, because you know what we're now experiencing. This is white fragility. Remember when I said that Caitlyn and not Caitlyn herself. I'm sorry. Remember when I said that white women are very fragile? That's because of this cushion that has been created for them. So when they are confronted with truth, whether I'm at a 30 or I'm at a 3, the truth doesn't change. The reality is her and I've had conversations where she may think I'm stupid and she's saying a lot without saying a lot. Girl, I'm gonna clock that shit. So you don't get to say women don't make good financial decisions when your fucking rich ass daddy is the reason you are what you fucking are. You don't get to sit up here and fucking do that shit.
Well,
I'm not standing for that shit.
It's because you feel patronized, and I understand why. Because
I'm not going for that.
Because growing up in a household pretty much with that, I actually relate to that a lot. That's why it's like, I hear there's 2 different conversations going on right now, because it's like the point originally was women don't have intuition. You answered the question, which was there's a certain level of awareness that you have, and you either have it or you don't. That's where things went left, because she took that as an attack and was like, oh, well, I don't have a woman's intuition. Well, what makes you a woman, essentially?
Trying to say what makes me feminine, bitch. You're a 6 foot fucking masculine ass fucking man, bitch. And at the end of the day, I am in a masculine role because masculine is action. So yes, I am the breadwinner in my family. Yes, I have had to get it out the mud. I've been doing this for 12 years. So I really don't want to hear somebody who comes from privilege to sit up here and say that women collectively ain't shit, can't make great decisions, and whatever the fuck. Again, bitch, if we're 4 episodes in and you're already fucking crying, bitch, get the fuck on. I'm not here
Listen,
to convince anybody, bitch.
I'm not
Again,
even-
crying the fucking blues. Like I said, you can't be triggered if it's not true. And I'm mad at 30 because I've been waiting for this bitch. I've been waiting because I went on her show. I did what I was supposed to do. I listened to her. I let her, she's a bully on her other platform. I ain't seen it yet here.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just like, bitch, keep the
Brittany,
same energy.
I'm gonna tell you what. Are we still recording? I hope we're still recording because I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Fuck outta here.
I was really waiting for this moment, and I knew it was gonna be messy, but I was really waiting for this moment because I have been getting drug for the last 24 hours for doing this show. I want everyone to know that and be clear. Yeah. I have a respected career as a journalist, and I cover a league that is predominantly Black and predominantly queer. And I have been sitting for the last 3 days next to someone who has used their platform to spear transphobia, homophobia, racism, xenophobia, and every other phobia that you can think of. And while my point was to say, hey, we can come here and still have conversations and still challenge those views, I have had people say to me, Terrika, I find it a little funny that you can talk about Caitlin Clark and how she doesn't address misogyny and bigotry and things of that nature, but you can sit next to someone who says all of those things, does all of those things, and you say nothing. And I want y'all to know that y'all are not wrong. Y'all are not wrong because I don't fuck with that shit. I don't fuck with that shit. I don't do that shit, but I am a believer. I'm a believer in God. And I was gonna have a conversation today about how to move forward in my moral and like what I believe, because I believe in this show and I believe in you guys. But I was gonna have a real ass conversation today. Like there are some things that I have to address and have to get off. And my belief and my spirit is telling me this happened for a reason. And I don't know what that reason is.
Intuition.
So you can be mad. But I don't want anyone to feel away. But I have been conflicted today. And I was really looking forward to the segment because I needed to get that
Closure
off. And I kind of, in a way, now I feel away because I ain't one to talk about nobody behind their back. I want you to be here when I say this shit. Yep. And now, now you're not here. So what I wanted to say is gonna fall on deaf ears, but that has been fucking with me all day because I have prided myself on being real, on being authentic, on being who I am, no matter where I am, and I have not felt like myself over the last couple of days because I haven't been able to say what I've really wanted to say, which is, you might be a nice person, but the shit that you say is divisive and it is dangerous.
Agreed.
You know, it's funny because, or not funny, that's I guess like my intro for, I'm still thinking about how to articulate.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, it's just such a deep and real conversation, and I think that even, again, all the emotions, all that shit, it's necessary. Because I think one of the things that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Brittany, but one of the things that we crave is just like that realness. And sometimes when people like talk that talk, like do this, do that, like take accountability, do this, do that, and when you talk all this stuff, but then you don't see it actively applied, like back, it's one of the most frustrating things. And then the only like argument or stance becomes like basically now putting you down for circumstances that ultimately were out of your control. And when it comes, like, I feel like that's a level of shame, even if it's being, like slighted or just like between the lines, like cryptically laid out. I think that, to be fair, the thing that I guess am intrigued by, to say the least, and I think that's why everybody has been really enjoying the diversity, I'll say, of the panel because of the polarity of it, which is like, dang, like how do you have conversations with such conflicting viewpoints and people? I think that's a part of what made it interesting. And one of the things that I've always reiterated to you is what I respect about you so much is that you're true to who you are. Like authenticity is really like the thing for me. Mm-hmm. And even like, I've never cared when it comes to like other people's opinions. I don't judge people. And that's also, I think, something that's like a difference is when you feel a sense of like, again, judgment, ridicule, patronizing energy that really is essentially unwarranted because you're making a point that's not being understood. So instead you kind of get attacked, or at least that's how one of the ways I've interpreting things. So again, I just feel like for me, You know me, dog. I'm loyal to the soil.
Absolutely.
I'm loyal to the soil, just like Dallas. No, just kidding.
I want to say this too. I'm not going for none of that. Okay,
Yeah.
so I am team humanity all the way. Okay. Not trivial, but let's just make it trivial, right? Because it maybe in the grand scheme of us being on this floating rock in the middle of space is trivial. But like, even when we talk about topics regarding the WNBA, the reason that we just can't move forward in conversation is because we can't have truthful conversation.
We can't have truthful conversation.
So if
There's
you
no
can't,
accountability
if
on
you
one
can't
side of the
receive
fence.
the truth, and let me tell you something.
Yep.
There have been difficult conversations I've had with people that I care about so much.
Yep.
And I'm talking about screaming matches. I can still hear you though.
Yep.
You can yell at me and I can still hear you,
Yep.
right? Because that doesn't trigger me because what as
you're
long as-
still listening.
I'm still listening. I can still hear you. If you're out of 30, that's cool.
listening.
I can hear you.
Yep.
And for me, that's why we maybe people feel like, why are we talking about this? Why are we looping? It's because we don't want to do this. So it's easier to get up and just walk out and to not want to deal with it.
Yeah,
and so
it's true.
then here we are. Then nothing gets solved. And then again, at the end of the day, I get there. I am a very passionate person. And I feel like I represent the majority when it comes to experiencing financial woes and hardships and going through shit. And when you don't have a rich family, you don't have a sugar daddy, you aren't willing to suck, fucking swallow to get an opportunity. When you have integrity, sometimes, most of the time, I'm sorry, your pockets take a hit. So I take that personally.
Especially as a woman.
I take that personally.
Especially as a woman.
Fuck that. Yeah. So you gotta stand on the fucking shit that comes out your fucking mouth. If you're gonna be sitting at this desk, you're gonna tell the motherfucking truth.
If it was any other way, straight up, like if it would have been any other way, because I pretty much just got thrown for a loop the second that we, were no longer really talking about the topic because it became like, oh shit, this just got deep. Like I know me and Trigger sitting here like, well,
I
no,
was
can't
like,
get in the cat fight. But because it's like one thing I genuinely believe, like obviously you gotta uphold your own personal boundaries and things like that. So yes, we can say there's a display of that, yes. But again, I think that for me it was just I agree, because at the end of the day, like this is life, like real talk. And even me, like I think we could all probably admit, like we're learning, we're adjusting, because we make our own rules here.
You know what else I could say?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't really mean to cut you off, though.
Oh, no, it's okay. But I'm just saying, like, we make our own rules here. So it's like we kind of are, having to pioneer. That's really what happens when you're a leader, when you're a pioneer, when you have to bear your cross like Christ, and you got to take those hits and really, like, you go through it to grow through it. Because I definitely believe that at the end of the day, it's progress. Even if you got to fall forward, it's like,
I think the other thing to that I will add, and I honestly think this is really good dialogue to have right now. But the other thing I think I will add is, and I'm showing my age a little bit because I'm the old biddy on the show, guys. But
please.
I come from an era before social media, right? So I remember what life was like before social media, and I remember when there were times where you had to have a conversation. There was no, I can say what I want to say behind a keyboard, on a TikTok, on a platform. I have to say those things to the people who I want to say it to. I have to say that to the person. I'm from the cross this line. Cross that, I bet you won't cross that line. Like that's the era we from. I bet you won't cross that. I bet you won't say that about my mama no more. Like that's the era that we're from. And because of that, I think that a lot of the newer, younger era have been able to say what they want to say from a keyboard, from a video. But when you're put in a position where you have to be held accountable for the things that you say and that you've done in person, not via phone, not necessarily via video or an Instagram chat or whatever, when you have to say that in person, sometimes our tunes change. I also think that we sometimes live in an era where you are way too in tune with your brand and you lose who you are.
Yeah.
And that there may be a point where maybe I started down this road Didn't realize how far down this road I was gonna go, but now I'm so far down this road I can't turn around.
Yeah.
I can't go back.
Right.
And you lose a bit of who you are. So there is that equal balance of being able to build yourself and build your brand in this 2024, but also remaining true to who you are. And I think
to
that
your
we can
core.
have
Yeah.
diverse conversations without losing who we are. But I can't lie, it's been a struggle for me these last couple of days because I've been and our producer knows it. Our producer knows it. I've been like, y'all, this is a struggle, right? But we move on because there's still a show to do. So listen,
And we're professionals. At the end of the day, like that's what we are, and it's just, again, I think, a testament to our character and things like that, and it's just like crazy how, life be life, and like I was like, whoa.
Man, it gets there. What we doing? Bitch, I'm on that. Fuck out of here.
I would say this. Okay, I have to make a quick comment because while we're here taking accountability for things, I made a comment in one of the previous episodes where I was talking about, the NBA players. I posted it on my page, and I referred to them as fairies. Now, I want to help you guys understand me a little bit and where I come from so that you know everything in Dylan's world when it comes to language has a polar dichotomy, which is essentially another way of saying two definitions on opposite sides of the spectrum. It's kind of like the word bitch, right? So sometimes we'll be like,
Endearing.
it's about the energy behind it.
Yeah.
Or again, even like, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the energy behind it. Like how are you using it? What kind of energy are you associating and attaching to the word? That's gonna kind of let you know which way of the spectrum it's leaning. And for me, I just want to say that if anybody took offense from the community where, for an educational moment, for those who don't know, fairy can be considered a derogatory term in the LGBTQ plus community because it can be something that's offensive, especially when it's used out of term or out of context or to attack somebody because it's like, oh, you're soft, you're this, you're everything that you're not supposed to be, especially towards like men and things like that. So I just want to say that I don't look at it as fairies as in I'm speaking derogatory, like speaking to you in a derogatory fashion. In my world, what that has meant was somebody is simply just soft. And I think that on the fairy side of things, there are very strong fairies. So if you're not one of the soft fairies, then there's absolutely no reason for you to take offense.
I was thinking Tinkerbell.
So
I can't be triggered if it's not true.
Honestly, I honestly was like, oh, she's thinking about like Tinkerbell, like, like fairy.
Feels better already. Let's move into entertainment energy. Who do we have first on the list? We have Viva A Fox. At 60, says she is finally looking for her husband, not her cousin, and is taking boyfriends' applications. Ladies,
oh my gosh.
Is there too old for a hot girl summer? How are we feeling about her finally taking applications, Dylan?
You know what? I actually really love this for her. Like, I just feel like, because I'm one of those people who's just like, man, I'm a romantic. I feel like every woman, every person should really look at their timeline as being timeless. Like, real talk. When people ask me, how old are you? I will always tell them, and y'all remember, you know the motherfucking deal. I'm timeless. I tell them that I'm timeless because that's genuinely how I feel about myself. Sometimes I actually low-key forget my age because I'm not thinking about, oh, by this age, by that age. I'm just taking every one brick at a time and I'm just building and going about life and figuring it out. So I feel like it's something that should be embraced and again, encouraged, because why do we have to feel like somebody's life ends? You know what I mean? Like, why do we have to feel like, oh, you just, and however they want to self-express, just let them figure it out. If it's not hurting you or other people, I don't understand why people are so, angry and they project so difficultly they project so intensely. And I just feel like it's, one of those low vibrational things, and I'm not a low vibrational being, so therefore I'm incredibly happy for her. I hope that she genuinely finds her happiness. I hope you find your man's girl. I hope the applications are coming flooding in, and I'm praying for the best for you and whoever is lucky enough to be with you. But yeah, and plus it's I just feel like either way it goes, whatever age you are, you have to be self-aware, you have to work on yourself, and then again, be confident in just living in your truth. Period.
Agreed with that. How about you?
Yeah, girl, I don't know anybody who, first of all, Vivica does not look 60.
She looks amazing.
She looks amazing.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two, I did read, though, that she says she's not doing any dating apps or anything like that.
Okay.
So I'm curious to know, where you about to find your man, girl?
Are you about to meet him at
how
Sprout?
are you?
Like, where is he about to be?
Are you kidding me? Okay.
you
Do you believe, Brittany, I'll start with you. Do
Okay.
you believe in like your person, like soulmate? There's one person for you. Do you believe there's lots of different people out here for you? What is your ideology when it comes to love?
Okay. I believe that we have thousands of soulmates in this lifetime. And I think who you end up with is the person who is as ready as you. Now, that looks different for different people. There's a part of me, though, that even though I know there are so many soulmates, there are so many different timelines you can end up on, I do feel like there's just that one. Like that, the Notebook kind of love. And maybe I'm just a hopeful romantic, but that's how I feel. I feel like there's just that one, but there are others if the one in this lifetime is not ready just yet. Because sometimes it takes lifetimes to get it right. I don't want it to take lifetimes for me. But how do you feel, Terrika? How do you feel in response to Dylan's question? I'm curious. And I want to hear your response too.
That's an interesting question because as the married one on the panel, like I like to believe that I have found my person, right? We've been together 13 years, married for 8. So I like to think, and we've had our share of ups and downs like any other couple would. But I also think that people have to carry their relationships that is in the best interest for them. Because I fell into that trap. I was raised by great-grandparents who were married for 60 years. Granddad did everything. He paid for everything. Grandma didn't have to do nothing. Right. That was very traditional, but traditional enough to where man pays the bills, woman takes care of the house, but still progressive enough where mom had a job, mom made her own money, mom taught me to be very strong, very independent. But what it did, though, was give me a perception of what I thought marriage was that wasn't real. It was real for them, not necessarily mean that that's what marriage would look like for me. And I had to like train myself to say like, your man is not your granddaddy. Like, no incestuous shit, but just like your man is not, he's not your grandfather. Like that. He's not,
like he's not gonna operate and
he's
function.
Not like when he met you, when y'all met, y'all were doing this 50-50, y'all were doing that 50-50. This is how y'all operated. This is the standard that you set. That's not going to change once you all make the decision to sign this piece of paper. Because you said this a couple of days ago when you said marriage is like a business. And granted, one thing I've been fortunate is that like my relationship didn't change once I got married. Like we still the same crazy couple that we was when we got together. But there is the business aspect. There is you have to sign these documents. You need to be the beneficiary. Have you, made this decision to do this decision? Blah, 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 blah. So I think that I found my person, but I do agree that I think that there is one person out there, depending on when you meet them in your lifetime or whatever that may be. I hope Vivica finds hers, but I would love to know where she gonna look if she decides she don't want to be on Hinge or wherever else whatever the kids are using these days.
Hey, give it up to God.
How do you feel?
Maybe church, Vivica, that's where you gonna find them in church, girl.
Wait, so how do you answer your question though? I'm curious to know how you feel about it.
Man, look, I do believe. Yes, I do.
That's a really
I
good accent.
believe.
Really good.
Thank you, darling.
Fuck.
I used to pretend that I was from the UK when I was a child.
That's
because
really
I
good.
really, really despise being told, like, when people ask me where you're from, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to say Pocatello, Idaho. So, here we are. Anyway, so I would say that
Give this girl an Oscar.
mic check, my ideology is absolutely that we have our one person. Now, I agree. I think when it comes to like soulmates, we have lots of soulmates. Why? Because our soulmates help develop us for that one person. Sometimes people get confused because we fall in love so hard with our soulmates or our life lessons, but they're all kind of life lessons when you think about it. It just depends on which way you want to vibrate. And again, look at it perspective-wise. Sometimes I call myself Dr. Dill out here because I just call myself a perspective doctor. Sometimes all you need is a little change in perspective. And again, I feel like when it comes to your soulmate, you don't necessarily, that's not like your person, right? Like that's not, because I come from a place where I do have fundamental Christian beliefs. So therefore, I believe in the Garden of Eden. I believe in Adam and Eve. I believe in this whole storyline that I developed from. So in that understanding, if we just break down that story real quickly, we're at church, Vivica, maybe your dude is watching, go hit her up. Anyway, so if it's like, let's say Adam, Eve, right? But even before that, man was made from the mud, right? And woman came from his rib. So I believe genuinely and truly that a man is like the leader and that we came from the man. So, and then I'm really the 2.0 version of the man because I'm not missing a piece. So when I see, again, like a ideology of what do I think everybody actually has, but what does it take to actually get to that is a whole different conversation of like what you're willing to, like what suffering you're kind of willing to choose, what sacrifices you're willing to choose. Are you going to take that life path journey to find your one person that you either came from or that completes you? And so the way I always saw it was like my husband, he will feel like home to me and I will complete him. Yeah. That's how I've always felt.
Vivica, girl.
Love's in the air.
I love this for her. Open heart, open that heart chakra, honey. So let's move on to our next topic. Fans tussle over a jacket that Chris Brown threw into the audience. Did you guys catch the video of them tug of war with the jacket?
Listen, Chris Brown really got the girls out here going crazy.
The juice, man. He's just going crazy.
Because he just knows he's fine.
He do. I don't know though. Like, I wouldn't pay the $1,000 to meet him, but I might be a little ratchet over the jacket.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm definitely
framing in that jacket.
I've tussled with a kid for a baseball. Sue me. Sorry. Tussled with a kid over a baseball, so I will definitely tussle with a grown-ass woman for a jacket.
I agree. Dylan, how do you feel?
No.
I know.
I'm giving you that jacket. I'm going to be like, here you go. And it's not even, it's just because that's just me. Like, I'm a generous person. I'm going to be like, it's okay. Like, if I see somebody else, like, even if like a bouquet of flowers was thrown at me, if I saw somebody really like going after me, I'm not going to be like, and like snatch it, you know what I mean? Like maybe I'd be like, you know what? I hope you get it. I'm gonna like move myself out the way just so it'll come in your direction and you can like see it come true. I mean, look, I think it's an interesting thing. I think it goes to just show how much, really he's loved and he's also, in a way, like kind of fetishized, but I think that just kind of works for him because again, it's authentically who he is. And as I stated earlier, I'm all for people just being authentic to who they are and continuing to, live in their corner of the world or their world and essentially like bring whatever joy they bring. And clearly he's bringing joy, even though it looks a little crazy out here. There's joy in the mix, and for that much I can at least be like, okay, y'all, may the best brawler win.
They were definitely tugging. And honestly, I can kind of see that too, because it's like, I think too, when we have, like whether you're at a baseball game or a Chris Brown concert, I feel like you want a piece of that memory. Like I want something physical to hold, to be like, I went here and I got his jacket.
Yeah. Girl, no, I'm selling that jacket on eBay. What you mean?
You're gonna sell it.
Give me that jacket. You know how much money people will pay for this Chris Brown jacket? I'm a hustler. Girl, I'm a hustler out here. Let me get
I'm gonna frame it. I'm gonna frame it and hang it up.
I feel
so would you sell it or frame it?
Ooh. You know, to be honest, I'm probably keeping it.
If they paying $1,000 for a Chris Brown picture, they're running a few stacks for this jacket.
That's so weird. I can't believe I just said that. But I'm doing the same thing as Brittany probably, because it's like at the end of the day, like if I was not myself, right? I'm putting myself in these people's shoes, because if it was myself, I'd be like, can someone get this back to Chris?
He's gonna need that.
Because I would honestly feel like if I was gonna go get something to hang up of his, then I would probably, do it like a very formal way. Like, hey, I got a custom Chris Brown jersey. Do you mind like signing it for Christmas or something like that? Yeah. Again, like that's just because that's how I am as a person. But I agree with like the nostalgia aspect where it's like certain things, like for real, I wear like these little like bummy gloves or certain things that I carry around on me because they like hold so much nostalgia but so much energy and power for just my aura and protection and just all the things I've been through with it and gotten through over it and stuff like that. So I definitely associate that kind of stuff with items, like special ones.
I'm kind of lightweight joking. Like I might keep it, but oh,
you're switching up now. You're like, you know what? It might be worth more later.
Hold on. I will definitely create the account, put the jacket on there, test the waters, and if the money looking right, the jacket might be gone.
I ain't mad at you. I'm not like you. I'm not gonna say that I wouldn't consider doing something like that either. If I wasn't like, you know what, you're right. Like, let me just see.
Let me just see. Like, what's going on? Maybe checking it out.
People offering.
Let me just check it out.
I'll probably end up, putting it in a museum, but like maybe they'll buy it.
So moving right along, Complex named the funniest people on the internet, and Cameron and Mace are actually number 16. Number 1, we have Drewski, though, which is to no surprise, because honestly, I don't think any of his skits miss. So we have the first 4 people. Drewski is number 1. Ben Dadon, number 2. Number 3, Mark Phillips and RDC World. And 4, Trey Rags. Now, how do you guys feel about this list? Terrika? Is Drewski number 1 for you?
Put me on to something, because I want to hear from your perspective, like what comedy,
Yeah, who do you think is funny?
What comedy is to you?
Because I could give you, because we should do our top 3. We should do.
No, I feel the same. Look, I'm not gonna lie. Brittany, put us on to these people.
I was like, I know Drewski.
I know them, but I don't know their comedy.
I know Trey Rags. And but I was surprised. I was like, no Kev on stage. I thought he was funny. And I know Vince. There's Vince on this list. So Vince Staples. He has a Netflix show. So I've been watching his Netflix show, and his show is really funny. So I was like, okay, I could see him being on here too. So I was surprised that he wasn't higher up on the list. Cameron and Mace making the list is incredibly funny. Like that in itself is funny as hell. But I probably could have put them in the top 10. So but honestly, and here I am again being the old lady. I have no idea who the rest of these people are.
Yeah, I would say my top 3, honestly, Drewski hands down. I
do like Drewski.
I love Drewski. Number 2, I think my humor it can be a little dry sometimes. So I like Theo Vaughn. He's just like this out-of-pocket white dude. He's pretty hilarious to me. And then I'd go Funny Marco for number 3.
So there's another guy who is really funny. I just started following him recently. His name is Jason Banks Comedy, and he does like this little boy named Derek, and the shit is hilarious. I find myself, like I would have added him to this list because he is ridiculous. I find myself just scrolling through like Jason Banks videos for like minutes upon minutes upon minutes. So that might have been my only addition.
Your top 3. What about you? How are you feeling?
I feel like, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to the comedians like that.
Because shit don't be funny most of the time.
I'm not gonna lie. It's no shade. It's just like, I be in my own world. So really, like I said, unless I have to like study for certain things, like I'm up in here going to class, then I don't usually like know what be going on with the comedians. But what I will say is that as far as like comedy itself, like what I find funny, I think what I find funny is again, somebody who's authentic in their humor. It's not forced. It's like like when you see certain people like actors and things like that. Like, who do I think is freaking hilarious? What's her name? Rebel Wilson, right? Like, I actually find her like really hilarious.
Rebel Wilson is funny
because it's like she's just so authentic in her character and all these different versions of herself that she's been. And I think I'm like, when it comes to comedy, I'm somebody who finds comedy more so in like cinema And movies, that's why I said, so like what do you find funny? Like what is comedy to you? Because I feel like really what it's being based off obviously is like the funniest people on the internet and things like that. But I don't know. The things that I find funny on the internet are usually like things in nature that are like hilarious or like influencers in the wild. Like, I'm pretty sure I probably should have been on there at one point.
Such a great spirit.
I feel that though.
So yeah, shout out to everybody who made it in. Shout out to Cameron and Mace for the show.
Yes.
Cam by himself is funny.
He is. He be out of pocket.
He be out of pocket.
And so our last topic for entertainment energy, we have Mr. Donald Trump, Gemini man. He got a birthday wish today from the Biden administration. The Biden campaign wishes Donald Trump a very happy birthday by saying, "Happy birthday, Donald. You're a crook, a failure, a fraud, and a threat to our democracy, economy, rights, and future. On behalf of America, our early gift for your 79th, making sure you are never president again."
Is this
I can't even believe that's real.
not real.
There's no way that's real.
There's no way.
Joe Biden is petty like that.
That's
Like
insane.
his campaign is petty like that. That's my kind of birthday card. Yes, Uncle Joe. That's my kind of birthday card. What?
How do you feel about him? Their
my
birthday
God.
wish for him.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like kind of embarrassed.
I can't even believe that's
Like
real.
I'm embarrassed. Like I just feel like the tactics are so Hollywood, and I'm also embarrassed because it's like I really like voted and campaigned really hard for like this campaign, and I just feel like real talk, even just in the leadership, it's like you're currently okay. I'm gonna go here because you know
I mean, why not?
it's the GFY show.
Yeah,
Right.
go fuck yourself. Oh, right here.
I just think it's so crazy, administration, that y'all have so much time to get not just one, but 78 reasons for why Donald Trump shouldn't be president. Meanwhile, you're trying to what? Distract us all from the fact that there's a very active war that you're funding in all of these other countries. So we're talking about the shit that's going on in Palestine. We're talking about the shit that's going on in the Congo. Why don't you got time to write 78 reasons about how we're gonna create solutions to this? Like, that's why I'm just embarrassed. Because it's like, you got time to do all this shit.
Yeah.
But then there's all this real stuff that's going on in the world that, like, we have no kind of accountability for. Like, I bet you, like, most of y'all probably don't even know really what's going on. Why? Because just like we talked about, the media doesn't cover that shit. Why? Because
It's
they're too busy over here
one-sided.
being petty, clearly. And again, pulling these tactics that on one hand are, like, really funny, but on another hand, like, from a worldly scale, I'm almost, like, embarrassed to be an American. It's like, I'm proud. Again, that polarity, y'all. On one end, I'm super duper proud because, again, I know the blood, sweat, and tears of our people that went into this motherfucking country. And even, again, the peoples who were genocided, shout out to my tribes out here and to all the reservations. Like, when you really think about it, that's the reason to be proud to be an American. Like, none of that shit was really in vain, right? But when we look at our administration and our government, and you're out here being pettier online than, like, again, like certain people online who actually have careers for this stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me.
But you know
These
what?
are the people in positions of power. Like, this is embarrassing to me. Like,
It
what did
is.
they think? What kind of response did they think they were going to get with that?
It is,
Right.
but I also think people look at the structure of government incorrectly. And why I say that is because how often and this is just real shit, how often do we hear people care about local elections, state elections? Who are your people that are sitting in Congress? Who are the people that are making the decisions? Because the truth is, everyone thinks the president has all this power. The president is the face.
It's kind of like the royal family.
The president is the face. The people that are in the actual decision-making powers is your congressmen, your state representatives, your senators, and the people that are sitting on Capitol Hill. Mm-hmm. And there is not enough time and attention given to make sure that the people who want to represent us are in those positions because we still have senators and representatives who've been sitting in these positions for 30 fucking years. Like, you're not doing anything. Yeah. And we too often have the mentality of, well, my vote doesn't count. And I'm one that's always going to preach, if you had all of the people who say they vote don't count actually vote, your vote counts. You get what I'm saying? So we just need to start to really relook at how we are electing and how much importance we're putting on elections that are not just the president. Like, we're about to see all of these voter campaigns and all of this shit now because we know that there's going to be another presidential election. But in those midterm elections, how much progress was put into making sure that, like, we're talking about the Black agenda, you ain't put no Black people in the positions that they needed to be in to push the Black agenda. Yeah. We have all of these Black men and women in Congress that are trying to push an agenda, but not enough people around them to support them. So we don't get done what needs to get done.
It's also because, like, that fact, and then also because of the fact that, think about it, they're new to their position. So no one's ever done it before, and on top of that, there's an entire secret society they're still not allowed to be a part of. So that's why we're not seeing, like, the progression, like, really happen. Mm-hmm. And again, like, I'm going to say this. Tell me this. Am I the only one who, maybe call me a conspiracy theorist, but am I the only one who believes that the votes are usually kind of rigged anyways? Like, real talk, that when it comes down to it, they choose ultimately who it is that they want to push, because it comes down to who is really in a position of power. Think about it like this. We know how, because we came from the internet baby world, so we know how easy it is to manipulate numbers. It's really easy, and technology just continues to get more and more and more advanced. They keep switching up how it is that we're supposed to vote and do this and do that and whatever. And even like again, for people to get registered is ridiculous, depending on, so a lot of like minority communities and people who could vote and do all this stuff always run into some sort of issue. And it's like, yeah, you have the opportunity to vote, but some way, somehow, the oppression is still real out here, so their voices are still unheard and nobody's able to really vote. And like I said, I genuinely believe that some shit could happen where it's like, yeah, all these votes and everything go to one side, but then somehow, some way, there's something that goes on in the back end of things who's really the people in positions of real power out here. I mean, think about it. Again, this is still just capitalism at the end of the day. You pay off the right one, they'll change those motherfucking numbers for you.
I mean, I won't go so far as to say that I think they out here switching votes, but I would 100% believe that like there's definitely people who have positions of power who utilize their position to sway votes, whether that's monetarily, whether that's you scratch my back, I scratch yours. However, I don't know if they like physically fucking with the machine, but I will say that, yes, they make the voting process, the registration process entirely difficult. We saw what happened in the election when Joe Biden was elected. We saw what happened there. We saw all of the people who were claiming that there were fraudulent things happening because they just didn't want to accept the election. We saw people who were, we've heard about how, and I ain't trying to get too deep in the weeds, but we've heard about how, Russia and all of these other people were dealing with, swaying the election and using Facebook and social media and all this other stuff. So yeah, like there are people in the positions of power who are doing their very best to keep us oppressed. We have to continue to try to fight the system to not be.
Yeah, and I think on that note too, like when I hear both of you, I feel like what it also comes down to as well is like the popular vote at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If the whole world wants this person, it doesn't come down to that. It comes down to those other votes. So I think for me too, there's a lot of these like almost like reality show games that are being played, like wishing Donald Trump a happy birthday in a really like petty way, because it's all about public opinion, too. When it's still, the power is still in the people when it comes to whether it's in Congo or whether it's what's going on anywhere else in the world. Bringing awareness and having people bring attention to something puts pressure on those people, like you're saying, that are actually governing us because the president is the face. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, I feel like CNN, when I used to watch it religiously, probably in like 2016. I know, I'm almost done. When I used to watch it in 2016, it felt like a reality show. So this is The Truman Show, and here we are, as we are finishing up today. On that note, ladies, it has been a pleasure.
A spicy pleasure.
Yeah. So, and on that note, in case we don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.